Hey folks, Lemon02, getting ready to play in the 100 card singleton tournament, the Chainsaw Massacre. Today we're going to be running this cool rug deck. I think it is slightly less powerful than the bug build I played before and the Abzon build. I do like the black in both those decks because I think it gives you more range for removal options against other cards. Specifically in the rock coloration, you can just generally deal with most permanents. This is a more counterspell based deck, so it needs to get things before they hit the board, and or it needs to hope that they're small enough that it can burn them off with its small burn package. Should be a fun deck to play. It's a Primeval Titan deck of note. Otherwise, nothing too cool about it or interesting. It just has a lot of counter spells, some very decent, efficient creatures, some good planeswalkers. That's about it. It's a pretty simple deck, and we'll probably be starting here relatively soon. As far as board planning goes, we have the control matchup package here. Bribery against Reanimator, green decks, generally speaking. Anarchy for the white deck wins, or White Weenie, or Death and Taxes matchup. Same thing with Sulfur Elemental and the Clasm singleton. Chill, we do play some red spells ourselves, but only like, I think, 8 total in the deck, so it's pretty decent. Flash Freeze, green, and red decks. Gainsay, counter control package again. Spellskite can go into a litany of matchups. Really what it's targeting is red deck wins. Blast package by 6, so for control and then for red deck wins or the aggro matchup. So this is the deck. Should be pretty fun. So should be pretty fun, and we'll get started here relatively soon. And I'm going to go on a pause, guys. And we should be starting here momentarily, guys. We're playing against C4R1S, so I assume some sort of, red, green, white, or black deck. That is typically what he plays. I will play first. Hands good. Keep. Lead off with the Fumarole, or, I think we're going to lead off with the Fumarole. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Opponent mulligan to 6. He's on the draw, though, so it's a little better for him if he has to. We are banking on the Lotus Cobra here. So, actually, you know what I'm going to do? This is a really weird play. I'm going to lead with the Trop. This does not play around Wasteland, but I do want to have the Daze available to me. The mana efficiency play. Alright, I doubt he has Doran in hand. So, maybe our fears were unwarranted. Here, what I think we're going to do is take the 2 damage. This could be dubious, but I want to just get this down right now and still have Daze mana available. I do not hope to use it this next turn. Okay. A Selfless Spirit. Do you want to Daze that? I don't think we actually do. I think we're going to let that happen. Okay, that's a good one. Yes, I would. And we're looking for our huge stuff. Well, this is all very, very strong. I'm going to put Garrick back, though. Oh, that could be wrong. And what I'm going to do here is... Yes. And we'll go blue. We're going to do Vendilion Click main phase for mana efficiency, see what's going on in his hand so we can kind of make a plan, see how we want to use this Daze. We don't have a high counter magic count right now. Hoping to counter spells off the top. Alright, well this hand is pretty darn decent. So he's going to have 3 mana next turn. So the Thalia is good to go. The Hymn is something I don't want to see. The Restoration Angel is also a pain in the butt. So I think what we do is this. I think we get rid of the Thalia Heretic Cathar. Or do we? Well, he doesn't have black mana in hand. So the Hymn is kind of dead. The Hymn is a spooky card, though. The Siege Rhino is a card I don't want to face. Let's get rid of the Thalia. And I will block this Selfless Spirit. Okay. I'll block here. Well, he took 2, which leads me to believe he has another turn 3 play. Doran. Well, counter magic. Time now. Birthing pod's coming out. I don't want this land. Do I want this? So I can make a bazillion mana this turn. Can make 4, 5, 6. So I do. If I equip the sword, I do 4, 2, so 6, plus 2, 8. He may have just conceded. That's a ton of damage. Hard matchup here. His creatures are probably going to be better than ours. So I think a flash freeze is good. Do I want more like low drop creatures, like sable stags and stuff like that? Or do I want a bribery? Do I want Clasm? He has mana dorks. Clasm is either like the best ever or like totally meh. Well, I definitely want that. Siege Rhino is such a problem. Never want to see that card hit the board. Is Bribery good enough? I don't think so. I think he needs to be on mostly like a Planeswalker package. Flame Tongue's probably decent. Do I need the Reclamation Sage? Yeah, I don't want to cut threats here. I do want the Land Destroyers. Izzet Charm is kind of... Nah, I want the Izzet Charm. I need the damage base removal. Maybe Force Spike is just too schmedium. I don't know, though. It's just good early interaction, and like I feel like if he wins the game, he's going to win it fast. This is where I wish I had another sword, the black-red protection sword. Don't have sweepers. Do I want to cut the Factor Fiction? That just seems so bad to me. Like, I definitely want Finks. Jace is pretty solid. Nissa is kind of slow. You know, maybe I... Condescend? Yeah, Condescend seems kind of slow. Put in a counterspell, take on a counterspell. Alright, well, he obviously got stuck a little bit on mana. Do we keep this? Can't cast 2 of its spells. If it hits land, it works out pretty darn well for us, though. Yeah, I'm going to mull this. Much better. Oh, yeah. The birds stay alive. This is a heck of a hand. And the one tricky thing about it is we have to probably look to play the true name out next turn unless he kills our birds. Alright, he kills the birds. Cool. Well. I know this is shoes value off of our tireless tracker, but I think we have enough lands in hand that we can get some value off of it. Alright, a vampire, a nighthawk. Well, the Nighthawk is going to be problematic for us. We can possibly outgrow it with the Tireless Tracker, and we can stay alive with the Courser of Crufix, I think. Okay, a Beater, a Blossom. Well, not quite timely. Well, he's got the black force field in play. Do you have removal for my Tireless Tracker? No, just a Fauna Shaman. Well, we can at least gain some life. Alright, this is a weird play, guys. I don't like doing it, but I do want to have the ability to pump my Tireless Tracker here. And I also want to keep up the miscalc. My expectation is that he'll save the Fauna Shaman. Interesting. Well, okay. Okay. Well, we got 2 free cards out of it. It's better than nothing. And if he doesn't cast anything here, I can still cycle the miscalc and get that pesky land off the top. But I think he will. We'll see if I manage to defend it. I don't know. I think this deck is a lot worse. Okay. Well, here what we're going to do is this. Draw this card. Well, it looks like we're going to be fairly well loved by our deck. Maybe. Wow. Okay. Got him. He needs to see the Reclamation Sage on top, and that's that, I guess. 2 extra timely cards did us very well. Good games, man. And guys, I'm going to go on a quick pause and report results, and then we'll watch. Alright guys, we're back at it, and while Moto loads, we're going to be watching Michelle versus Inix Bane. Alright, so we have a Fabricate being cast by Michelle, getting Pithing Needle to name Elspeth. I would assume she is on something interesting. I don't know what. What did she get with Ranger? I can't tell. I would assume either a Walking Ballista. Oh, wait, no, that's only one drops, right? Is it one or less? Huh. Okay. Alright, sorry about that. We had to do some, Gatherling's been weird lately. There was an issue with the reporting of results. We just double-checked our stuff. One of us may have entered something wrong. I don't know. Okay. So I don't know what she got with the Ranger of Eos. Is this only one drop or is it one drop or less? Or less. Okay, so she could have gotten, like, a Walking Ballista, a Hangerback Walker. She has Mishra's Factory in her deck. Sweet. This deck looks pretty sweet. So it's like white stacks splashing blue? I gotta watch some more of this. I don't know. Speaking of which, Sylvan Advocate. That is a card that I put in almost every green deck now. I think it is a stellar deck, or stellar card. Especially only at the efficient cost of 2 mana. That's the biggest sell point. I am a builder. I build around efficiency, right? So I may not have the sweetest decks, but they tend to be able to cast their spells when I expect them to be able to cast their spells. When they can't, well, then you lose the game generally, you know. We see, like, ridiculous cards like Elspeth Sun's Champion in the graveyard. And it's not quite ridiculous. I mean, it's a very strong 6. It is a 6 I can get behind in the right deck, which tends to be control decks. But it's also still a 6-mana spell, which, when you're getting up to 6, in my opinion, you need to be very discerning about what you use. Alright, so she obviously did get a Hangerback Walker. That was one of the cards she got. She'll block with it and generate a billion flyers. Elspeth is still doing nothing. We have a Caracas available to us, I suppose, if Inix Abane happens to cast any creature card. I think Michelle is starting to gain control of this game. I don't see another 1-drop in the graveyard or 1-drop creature in the graveyard or on the board, so I assume she has an additional 1-drop that she got with the 1 or less drop with the Ranger of Eos. I would assume it's likely to be... That stinks, man. Sorry you're dropping, brother. We played C4R1S, and yeah, I mean, you saw the match. Like, we got pretty lucky. I would never say we did not. Like, we got very lucky. When we drew into a Flame Tongue Kabu that answered his flying threat that was keeping him alive in the game, into an answer for his other threat. And it was just like, and we pretty much had board parity with the exception of that, like, I had an unblockable 3-1 that's just going to, like, life him eventually. And at that point in the game, he would have had, like, a 1-1, essentially. You know. I did kind of sack on him. I will be the first to admit when I sack. I sacked, double sacked. Yeah, okay, so that was the other card she got. She has like, what, a 10-10? It's a 5-5 Walking Ballista. Card is a bomb, though. With both players on 1, I think she has effectively clawed her way back into this game. She has a 5-5. Albeit, and she can just start pumping that thing at will. She may just like hang out and like next turn pump it to kill the Sylvan. What is this guy called again? Sylvan something. Sylvan Advocate, because that'll make the manlands smaller. Because the treetop is a 5/5 currently. How does she get blown out? I'll tell you how she gets blown out. He draws a Reclamation Sage or an answered artifact, blows up the Pithing Needle, and then flies over the top. That is not it. That card does very little on this board state. That needs to be an early drop or a never drop. Let's check out what Dots and Golden Lin are up to. All right, Dots is on 4-color Midrange. Golden Lin is on White Weenie. We'll come back to this one. I don't think Golden Lin is favored. I think it can be won by the White Weenie deck. I don't think it's his favorite though. Yeah, okay, she's doing what we talked about. That doesn't do it. Mishra's Mishra's Workshop only casts them. She's gonna pump it. It looks like to a 7/7, possibly even attack with it here. But I think she does have to blow up the. Okay, are you getting the Sylvan? Okay, you're just killing him. My bad. I didn't even look at the life total. Like, I guess I've been playing blue too much lately. You don't pay attention to your life total when you play blue. Okay, well, you know, this is why I was saying, like, Dots' deck, when it has the right mana, will tend to overpower White Weenie. What you have to do with White Weenie, I think, and that's why I very much so make a distinction between this White Weenie deck and between Death and Taxes, is you disrupt his mana base. If he is unable to have green mana, I don't think he can tend to win. Get a free lick in here. Attack, hopefully cast a good 2-drop, or remove the Tireless Tracker entirely. Okay, well, that's not a good 2-drop. That's a 1-drop that, I don't know, just does really nothing. It's not going to change the outcome of this matchup. Well, I guess it will, but it'll be to the detriment of Golden Lin. I'm going to jump out of this one, guys. I think it's kind of a lopsided matchup. We'll come back to it if it goes long. Let's check out the Sensei's match with ML, see what they're both on. I kind of want to see more of Michelle's deck, though. It looks very interesting and creative. All right, so we have White Weenie versus 4-color Midrange. Who is... Well, 4 cards to 4 cards. Assumption being MLs are all gas. Don't know the contents. Oh, wow. Don't know the contents of Sensei's hand. This is pretty impressive here. So... he's going to look at his hand, which means his own hand is probably very good. Or he's just acknowledged that, like, hey, there's just gas inside ML's hand. I'm glad I got to play the mid-range match first. I don't really care for my matchup against White Weenie. It's really because I don't have mass removal for it. I think I'm better off against red deck wins, where some of the more their damage sources are damage based. Our correction, more their damage sources are spell based, where I can recover from it. But if they go horizontal on me, it tends to be tough for the deck I'm playing to outpace that. I do have that one tool, Pyroclasm, and then Anarchy in the board, but I don't tend to like that. I think I have to, stall them early and develop my own board. And they have cards like this too. It's just like a mana efficiency, engine. Sensei plays a Thragtusk out, and and that's it. So, what will Johnny tap down? I think, I was going to say, I think you want to leave the boots on that thing, especially with where the life totals are at. I think you want the flyer to be able to get over the top and hit a Johnny, because now he's going to be able to utilize the -2, gain some much-needed life, or not much-needed, but some desired life in this matchup. I don't know on that. Rafiq. Oh, Knight of the Reliquary. I'm sorry. That looks like Rafiq. It looks like the alternate art for Rafiq. It's weird art for Knight. All right, Wickerbow Elder. Obviously, no fear of the Greaves. I think this is now kind of over. White Weenie has been hugely popular recently. So we're going to check out this game again. I kind of want to see more of Michelle's deck. The deck is interesting to me. It's really something I haven't covered before and haven't really seen it played before. So it's a very heavily artifact-based deck. I think it's cool. Maybe she's kind of building around what we talked about earlier in Forum, which was that I don't think Seagate Wreckage is a good card in aggressive decks. I think she was arguing that maybe it was. I don't know, though. The deck she's playing right now, though, which appears to be largely artifact-based, with some blue in there, blue and white. Probably mostly blue, though, because blue and red tend to be the best colors with artifact synergies. White has some as well. I mean, it has some search effects, but mostly it deals with enchantments, right? So what are we going to have here? A 2-drop or a 3-drop?
We'll see how fast he develops. Yeah, that's a strong one on turn 3. The thing's a beating. I mean, it just turns birds into a real card after it's done producing mana for you. Yeah, that card's mono huge. So you need to Wrath quickly. Okay, Wither Wayfarer. That keeps him from playing a land because he should know that will get Caracas, which will bounce the Anafenza. And the good news is this, like, he can only bolster the birds to a 1/2 before the Anafenza gets bounced. He did play the land down. I think this is a mistake, though. I think he just needs to beat the living crap out of her with Anafenza and force her to stay above him on lands or at parity. Oh, okay, well, he has that. Well, he has the Stone Cold Nuts. Yeah, I don't think this is probably a winnable game for her now. Unless she just, like, happens to have Caracas and a threat. But her deck did not look threat-rich, so I think she's probably doomed in this one. Abzan is some of the strongest. Well, I don't think I can beat a best draw. No, you probably can't. That's kind of what we were saying. So, this game has kind of gone sideways. What do we have happening here? Well, something got blown up. The Knight, the Dryad Militant. I guess this is as good as any. I'm assuming he blew it up before. Yeah, pretty decent is an understatement. That draw is stone cold nuts. Turn 2 Anafenza into turn 3 Liliana. Land drop every turn. Not knowing the rest of his contents of his hand, seems pretty good. What's he ditching here? And what is she ditching? Hangerbacks. No, it's going to be hard. You're going to need mass removal, is what it is. Mass removal. Okay, trading post? Well, you don't have a lot of time. The question is, does he have another threat? If he goes into another threat here, then the game's over. Like, I can't think of many ways. Like a Siege Rhino or something like that. And it's just, his day. All right. So what did he have? Oh yeah, well just a Thragtusk. No big. All right, game's over, guys. We'll leave it running, but I don't think there's a recovery for here. Well, at least ML is knocking out Planeswalkers. We got down to 2 cards. He's on 4, so like. If he's on 4, that means he probably has 1 to 2 4-drops in hand, like an Elsbeth, or possibly like a 5-drop, which is a sword, but he could cast that. Selfless Spirit, not bad, not bad. So this is what I was actually talking about earlier, is essentially Gideon's Lawkeeper makes Siege Rhino Alms of the Vein, which means it's not very good. Why wouldn't you cast that out before combat to attack with it? I guess if you want to block, but like, I don't know if that's right. I guess he may have to tap the Knight, depending on how big it gets here. Because Knight has lost Summoning Sickness, can get a Wasteland, or not a Wasteland, but he can fetch. Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to why he didn't equip this beforehand and try to get him for 2 more damage. I mean, 13 is still not great. It's still a lot of life, but it's better. Okay, Academy. Okay. All right, well, what can this get? You obviously block the most damage out. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Anafenza exile stuff, so it doesn't even work. Yeah, she still about the same status quo on this game. I obviously wasn't paying attention to the Anafenza, that ability of Anafenza, which is also, the card's already bonkers, and it also just like randomly beats some broken decks. It's got a tax effect on it, essentially. Okay, well, he taps the Rhino down. Again, the Alms of Vein theory is sticking. It's a 4-mana Alms of the Veins, or Alms of the Vein. Get it with the 4/4. Yeah, interesting. Okay, ML, you probably need like a Mirren Crusader or an Elsbeth to win this. Yeesh. So that's a lot of life gained. 2 Ajani activations, a Siege Rhino, and a Kitchen Finks. Rough. Yeah. Well, let's see what's happening up here. Wait, I face Fetters. Oh, just get blanked because he had Restoration Angel. Yeah, his draw is nuts. And into a Gavany Township for the win. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and close this one down, guys. That was a bonkers draw. Got fairly lucky. I don't know if this is game 2 or 3, but that's rough. But definitely well played. I mean, you can't feel bad about having some good luck. Well, at least it's only a game 2, so we get to see another match between these two decks. Meanwhile, over here we have a shadowed kitchen finks. Why do you attach to this one? Why would you attach to finks? Would you attach to knight? Interesting. I don't know about that. I think I'd attach to knight or siege rhino here. Oh my goodness. What a blowout. Oof. Well, Restoration Angels all around. The card is nuts. Alright. This is about where you concede the game, I think. Loses 2-1. Yep. It's not good. He's had to have gained 3 plus 4, 7 plus 2 activations, 6, 13 life. So Sensei has gained 13 life in this game, is my rough estimate looking at the graveyard, knowing that he activated a Johnny twice and has flashed the Finks twice, or once, as well as cast a Siege Rhino. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. Alright, well now the Rhino is far bigger than the Knight is far bigger than the Rhino, so I assume that'll be getting in there. And I think we'll see this game close out. I imagine this is likely their last game in the match, because White Weenie tends to play out relatively quickly. And I think ML could probably, I mean, they're both on 11, 12 minutes. Probably go ahead and concede this one. I think it's probably over. No, that's what I was saying. Like, I think, again, like the advantage that white decks can have is mana denial. Yeah, I think you're dead, dude. That's 7-3-10. Yeah, you're dead. That's mono dead. Yep, good games. All right, well, that's the end of this match, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and X this one out. And who else is still playing? That's complete. Oh, that's complete. Well, we're just on Inix Bane and Michelle. And evidently they're still boarding, so I'm going to go on a quick pause, guys, and we'll catch up with them in here. All right, guys, we're back live. The good news is for Michelle, that was only a game 2. That draw, I think she was right, was perfectly unbeatable. That was a stone-cold nuts draw. I don't know if you could stack the deck any better. At least versus her cards as they presented themselves. So what is the big stuff she's casting? I mean, she has a Grim Monolith in the deck. Do you have Metal Misstep? Oh, Mana Tithe! Cool! That's cool. I want to see more of this deck. I want to look at this list when she's done. Because I'm actually working on like a very light blue colorless deck. Or where mana's perfect at least. Grim Monolith again. No, a Talisman of Progress. What does she have going on over there? I want to see more of this deck. The inner Timmy in me wants to see what's going on in this deck. So I'm working on a colorless deck too. It's mostly just a mana denial slash. It's like basically stacks. I think you can look at it as stacks. Well, that card, once he gets more mana, is going to be dangerous. Is he stuck on lands, though, is the question. Does she have Force Spike as well? Or Spell Snare? Well, he's out of land, so his hand is pure gas. But if he doesn't start getting mana advantage, it's not going to be good for him. Planeswalker would probably be the game. All right, Idyllic Tutor. So what enchantment is she getting? Like an Omniscience or something? Like Show and Tell Omniscience? I have no clue. I have no clue what to expect. Humility? Well, that's a beating. That means that he probably can't win, and her man lands are going to win it for her. Does he miss on land? No, he does not. Well, what other cards do you have? Do you have a Liliana, which would be a beating? Liliana is probably the best drop here for him against what she has going on, because the humility is going to hit. So if it's a creature card, like, it's just junk, in my opinion. And she'll have the flyer, so she can kind of go overhead. He gets in for the first 3 here, but he's already on 18. I mean, I expect if she's playing humility in her deck, she has wraths, so she can catch back up. Yeah, Doran's a 1-1, so I mean, this thing only does 3. They're both 1-1s after that. Yeah, this does not seem bad. Does not seem bad for her. It seems good for her. But she has to respect that his whole hand is gas at this point. He definitely top-decked that land, unless for some weird reason he didn't want to play with mana efficiency with a Doran in hand. He didn't want to play his Doran out. I don't know why you would do that, though. Alright, there's humility, so he's got 2 1-1s. And that's that. Now, well, wait, no, even like Reclamation Sage wouldn't work here, or Kasali Pride Mage. He'd have to like draw a spell that destroys that. So like it'd have to be like Maelstrom Pulse, Vindicate. But if he does right here, the game could end very rapidly because that's a ton of damage. I mean, that's 8 damage coming her way. It's basically... Okay, well, there's the Maelstrom Pulse, so he had it. Inexperience draws are pretty solid right now. She may have a Wrath, though, and just blow up the board. So that's 8. That's half your life total gone. That's the cool thing about Abzan. Like, I think Abzan is one of the best color sets if you're going to play 3-color in this format. Chiefly because, I mean, you look at their 3-drops, like, and their 2-drops. Like, you have Fleeceman available, you have Tarmogoyf, you have that Sylvan, guy that pumps lands. You have Agatic Teague. The Thalias are available. You should look at the 3s. You have Anafenza. You have Doran. Like, just, not to mention, like, their cards can deal with any permanent. Grafdigger's Cage is an odd one to me. I don't know why she runs that. That seems like a waste of a card to me. If he has a Planeswalker here, again, she's in trouble, unless she has, like, a Spell Snare. This is like Elspeth. Gideon. Okay, I was going to say, like, I'm thinking 4-mana white Planeswalker is the best draw. And again, his draw has been pretty solid here. And her capability to interact with this is probably going to be fairly limited. Although, I don't know. Her deck could do some crazy stuff. I don't really know what she's on. Obviously, she's on Seagate a Wreckage here. The card she was saying she was going to be testing today. Well, do we have an answer to the Gideon? We might. Really, we're in uncharted territory even for me. I don't know what this deck she's playing does. Other than it's blue and white. It has a lot of artifacts and has a Grafdigger's Cage main. Maybe she was afraid of Reanimator today? I don't know. She doesn't want to get the 2 damage land. It's kind of what she's thinking through. Alright, she gets a basic. 7 mana. Oh, Mere Battlesphere. Oh! What's ML talking about? I did. Okay, well, he has an answer for that as well. This is definitely not going Michelle's way. He's had an answer and a threat each time. That's, again, the power of Abzan. That's why I think the deck is just stellar. Does she trade with a Knight here? I don't know. Well, you definitely block the Gideon. I think you probably also just double block the Knight. He's on 2 cards in hand. I guess she does not. Okay. There it goes. My bad. What have we got? Alright, a Mirroring Crusader as well. She needs to answer that Gideon. May even be worth attacking with the Blink Moth. Oh, there we go. There we go. Well, Gideon's going bye-bye. He's down to 1 card. She's got Seagate Wreckage available to her, which means she can just draw the world. She could even, like, quadruple block the Mirroring Crusader. I don't know if that's good or not. It's probably not good. Probably just single block it and be happy with that, I think. Well, Seagate's going to get her some cards here. So, can she claw her way out? Can she claw her way out? What'd you get? Something you can do with it? Nope. Okay. Possibly a land. Not a 1-mana spell, evidently. Okay, Shambling Vent. It's not bad. Okay, she's single blocks. Did it? Well, it helps you. I don't know if that empirically proves the card is great. Although, it seems to be doing okay here. She's got to get something on the board. Elsbeth? If it's Big Elsbeth, this game has definitely turned. Then again, Anix Bane could just rip a Vindicate. If that was the card she drew. She'd have some more time, though, because the 1/1s. It kind of feels... Okay, Azorius Cluestone. I don't know if that helped. Yeah, it is strange. Yeah, okay, it was Big Elsbeth. I mean, I kind of, as soon as I saw the man, I kind of called it, like, that's the card I'm thinking in my head. And actually, one, because I just loaned it to her, and two, because that card is a game changer. It tends to win the game is probably over now. If he can't deal with the Elsbeth rapidly, then it is going to overwhelm him with idiot soldiers and eventually big idiot soldiers. That card turns games, and he wasn't able to close it out quite fast enough. Although with the draw he was on, I feel like, I don't know, that draw was like really good. Like I don't think you can complain about that draw. I feel like the deck did its part. If you land out, in the late game, well, you didn't kill her fast enough, I guess. Well, I'm glad Michelle's happy with Seagate Wreckage. It's possibly fine in this deck. I don't tend to think of blue-white as being like a Hellbent deck, but, evidently it can work. Well, we're going to see her cast something and then probably draw more cards off the Seagate Wreckage. Thought not see her, just a 4/4. Which, 4/4s are fine. They make the world go round. She can still activate her Seagate Wreckage at this point. Vindicate. That's the card, I think. Or like Oblivion Ring. He may play Oblivion Ring. I bet you there's a couple cards, actually. Another one that could do it for him here. I doubt it. No, does it shut down anything in his deck? Probably not much. Probably not much. He probably runs Delve spells, but those aren't impacted by it. I don't know. One card. Go Seagate. Yeah, it's doing it. You guys caught it live here. I was bashing Seagate. Although in the deck she recommended to go in, it definitely should not. It was like White Weenie, Elves, and Red Deck Wins. I was like, no, absolutely not. That card is garbage in those decks. It's just a tempo loss. Over multiple turns, actually. So... yeah, Pod, it hits 1/2 of souls. I think she's definitely running Trinket Mage in this build. If she's running Grafdigger's Cage and the Walking Ballista and the Hangerback Walker, I guess Grafdigger's Cage is fine because, it gives you like a one-outer, if you're in certain matches. It gives you two basically options to have a one-outer against like Reanimator or Broken Graveyard decks, which are around in the format. They're not the most common. But Natural Order is a thing. Obviously, Tinker's banned. Can she play her last card? No, she has a counter spell, more than likely. Because I think she could cast anything in her deck. It is nice to know that Natural Order and Pod are not available things to him right now, though. Those are definitely outer cards. He can cast anything in his deck, though. Alright, she got him. Cool. Good job, Michelle. And guys, I'm going to go on a quick pause, and after we get the next pairings, we'll jump back into game. All right, guys, we're live. We're playing against Golden Lyn, and we know him to be on White Weenie, so we're going to keep this. Has early interaction. Savage Knuckleblade is probably bigger than anything he's doing. Land tax, cool. Well, not a solid draw there. Just going to play out the fetch land, so we can't get wastelanded here. And if he plays out a land, we can just wait too. Okay. I don't mind discarding this Batter Skull if I don't draw well here. Okay. Because my hand does not have a lot of land. I would like more land than this. And I can get it back with Eternal Witness, so I would like more lands than one. I don't want him to go up on mana. Huh. Do I care about discarding a Dwarven Miner? No, I don't. Dwarven Miner is garbage in this matchup. I'll discard it. I'm not in a rush here. I can discard junk cards and sculpt my hand too. I'm not going to play into the land tax. If he wants to put a land on the board, he can go ahead and do that. And I think eventually he will, unless he can get to a 1-drop. Okay, well, you'll discard 2 then. You can even discard lands if you like. Okay, Brave the Elements. Yep, no problems. Well, I do risk... I think I want the Trop here. Yeah. Gonna hang this thing. Once action starts, I think we're gonna play our cards out relatively fast. Okay, he's going to 2. Cool. That means I can either Arc Trail his play. Okay, a Cloistered Youth. No thank you, good sir. And of note, if we draw another untapped land, we'll still likely play out the Lumbering Falls next turn. I know it leaves us a little bit weaker. But we do have the... Okay, that thing. That's fine. I'm going to be drawing a bunch of cards here at some point. Well, I am going to play this out. And I'm going to pass it. You have a Mana Tithe? No, okay. Could have like a Swords to Plowshares, which would be kind of rough. Don't want to do this. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. I'm going to let him... what do I want here? Probably actually a blue mana. Okay, go ahead. But you're down a card from that. You'll just draw a bunch of lands now. But we can get back the Arc Trail with the Eternal Witness. If he casts multiple cards out. We do have the Savage Knuckleblade as well, which is pretty big. Okay. Well, we know you have 3 planes. So we are on land parity at this point. Okay, a Sword of Fire and Ice. Well, that card is problematic. Well, that card is a good answer. Okay. He's going to 4 lands, which means we can as well. Can equip the sword, but I don't think it's likely he can play another creature. If I get an untapped land, I can Garruk his thing away. Oh, Fiend Hunter, that's pretty awful. But he does not get to equip the sword, which is cool. So... Is this coming off the stack this turn? It appears it is. Hmm. It's very interesting. I think what we want to force him to do is this. Okay, get this thing back. That's why these cards are fragile. And we get a Garrick, which is good because we're on a lot of mana. What do we ditch here? That's the next question. Is it negate? Probably this land. Well, do you have more answers for the Trigon Predator? That would be problematic, to say the least. He's either going to kill our Garrick. Well, he's probably just going to hit us. We'll see what he does here, and then blow up the Garrick with the 2. But then he loses sword, and we can drop a Tarmogoyf. So the real question I had last turn was, do I play Tarmogoyf? Okay, well, he's going to gain a bunch of life, too, so this thing's going to be a 3-3. It's getting huge. Interesting. Yeah, it dies. I don't need the Garrick. He must have an answer to the Trigon Predator then, which is annoying as heck, but hey, what are you going to do? Okay. Well, that was a strong draw, as they say. So at some point we need to go on the aggro here. But right now we're at least holding him back. No to the sword. No thank you, sir. And the cool thing is we get to at least leave up Spell Snare. Hopefully we're going to accrue some tempo with it. And I will counter that. No thank you. A 7-8 Tarmogoyf. Mono huge. He's used already a bunch of removal. A Griffin Guide. It has a flying. Well, that's bad. And lifelink? Well, can't race it. Jace would be good here. Hmm. There are certainly answers in the deck. I am going to start off with the Arc Trail because in order to beat this race... Yes. And that will get in there. If he wants to block it, that's fine by me. Okay. Well, going to be a tough one. I need to get rid of the champion. What are my best draws to do that? More than likely, Jace the Mind Sculptor. Champion is a problematic card. Okay, well, you gain 5 more life, and I'm down to 6. Well, unless he plays... Well, evidently he doesn't have more... Why wouldn't you play that beforehand? I don't know. It seems kind of poor to me, though. Well, Scavenging Ooze can give me a bit of time, so... I think what we do here is this. I think we get in with this big old lug. Do you care to block? No, you do not. Hmm. Well, this may be unwinnable from this point, unfortunately. But, oh, no, we don't want to do that. We want just the... Do we want green-red? Yeah, I think we do. Well, let's see if he remembers Battle Cry. We're just playing to see if he remembers it. If he attacks, he wins. Can't block in the air right now. It's very unfortunate, but hey, sometimes they have the answers. Oh, we get to see another card. It's a 7/7, so I mean, it still has flying. I don't know why he's casting out more cards. You just attack and win. I guess I could have Submerge. No, Submerge doesn't work on this card. Yep. Well, getting free information here, which tends to be good. All right, Griff's Boon. Okay, well, you win. And we'll concede it here. Pretty decent draw on his part. That's good, though. So he did definitely have a full gas hand. He played the land tax hand, which is one land in hand. All right, so we definitely don't want this. We want this guy. This will be good, I think. What do we want it over? Possibly the Garrick. Sulfur Elemental seems pretty good, too. I still want the Dismember in here, I think. Trigon Predator seems fine. A lot of enchantments we saw. Nissa seems a little bit worse to me. I think I do want the Clasm. I definitely don't want these two. I'm not doing any of that business. So we have Anarchy, a Clasm, and what else do we want to bring in? Otherwise, I think the deck's fine. Alright, let's jam it. Maybe Spellskite's right, too. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let's put Spellskite in here and cut what? Sylvan Caryatid seems fine. You know, honestly, Vendilion Click seems kind of meh. Nah, I still kind of want it, I think. Force of Will seems kind of bad, too. Maybe Force of Will comes out? Seems weird to cut Force of Will, but against White Weenie, it's like, do I really want to spend 2 cards countering one of their cards? The one I would have countered that he played would have been the hero. Otherwise, most of his cards are kind of blah. Maybe it was wrong to to allow the path to play us into tax. I don't know. I think we played it right. Yeah, I think we did. I'm going to defend my play there. I have to go back and look at it. Maybe we didn't want to take the land off the path. Had one additional in hand. Again, I think we had to mull this. I don't like doing that, though. Okay, this is better. I know I don't leave Days up like this, but I want to be able to cast Remand next turn and or Brainstorm if I find another land eventually. Do you have a 1-drop? Goodness, thank you. That is the one case if you have like a very strong 1-drop that I want to have the Windswept Heath on the board. Okay, what have you got at 2? If I get this Tireless Tracker down and it lives, it should be strong. Okay. Well, what do we get with this? Well, not the Taiga. We'll get the Tropical Island, and we do need to hit red land of note at some point. We're going to remand this. And hope to hit land here. 4 spike. Well, got to go for it. Come on, lands. Oh my goodness. Well, guys, I think we're losing this game. Wow. Yeah, it looks like we're going to lose, guys. It's unfortunate. That's really kind of crappy, but hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you're just not going to hit them, I guess. Yeah, 2 red spells into another 4-drop with no lands on top is that's rough beats. So we can go ahead and daze at will here. Hopefully you just cast it out again. Huh. And then we can 4-spike his next thing. Maybe we have time, I don't know. I'm going to cast this 2-drop again. That's, you know, it is what it is. I can't stop the 2-drop here with daze. And I think I need to get value out of daze. Cool. So we at least get value out of our daze. So we will cast by returning this because I can't play anything else, I know, for the next 2 turns. Yeah. Bad beats when it happens. Alright, well, go again, man. I found nothing with my brainstorm. That is unfortunate. Okay, well. Sometimes White Weenie got the lands and you don't. What a beat, though. Alright, yep. Getting a 4-drop next turn. Alright, cool. Well, at least we can 4-spike this thing and only have 2 power on the board. We know we're drawing Obstinate Baloth, so we can pretty much F6 through our turn. And if we don't hit a land the following turn, then, I mean, we're already probably losing this. Oof. Yeah, rough. Rough. Oh, man. Yep. This is the worst, guys. 3-3. Got it. Well, can we hit a land here or no? If we don't hit land, we're just going to lose. And that stinks. Well, evidently not. Oh, man. It's too bad because I think the deck should be performing a lot better than this. This is pretty crappy performance on its part. 37 land deck. And we're on 86. Yeah, it's... I guess it is what it is sometimes. And confirmed, if you don't draw lands, you cannot win the game. Well, there's a wasteland. Well, I guess I might as well just... what does this thing do at 8? Makes a million cats. I gotta play cards out. I can't afford to be treetop villaging him right now. He's got a 5/5. Hits me for double strike next turn and puts me to... what? 1? Yeah, I mean, this is the worst. But sometimes there's only, 3 lands in your top 15. And that's Moto. That's magic sometimes. Just stinks to lose this way. You just lose in a non-game. Yep, 6/6. Next turn I'm dead from it. What are my draws here? I mean, I don't think I block here. He can just... yeah, I'm dead. I can't think of a card that allows me to get around the Rogue's Passage. I gotta Wasteland the Rogue's Passage. Okay, you can, I guess, stop my Tireless Tracker. No, you can't. I don't know what you stop here. You just... Jace the Mind Sculptor is probably the right call on it, because Jace the Mind Sculptor could flip the his whatever that thing is called, something Henwer Militia. Celestial Flare? No, it's not a card that has an activated ability. That's just a spell. And I don't have that in my deck. Maybe he has it in his hand. Well, there's a Scavenging Ooze. Pretty miserable draw, guys. But what can you do? And your game, brother. You won. Do I attack the Ajani? Suppose I do. It doesn't really matter if I leave it back. I have to block either way. I mean, I guess he could just miss. He could just miss the Rogue's Passage. I mean, he has Rogue's Passage plus a Johnny Caller of whatever. Double strike flying. Yep, I'm dead. Good game, man. Pretty crappy way to lose, but there you have it. And that's the game. We're going to go ahead and report our result, which was 0-2, unfortunately. But, you know, what can you do? Sometimes you just get vicious mana screw. All right, submit and verify match report. And we'll go ahead and check out some other games, guys. Let's see how the Sensei and Michelle Wong are doing. Okay, Sensei is definitely advantaged here. What does it take for her? Answer to Batterskull plus Wrath the board. No Planeswalkers that we know of. Interesting split. Well, do you block here? Don't know. Possibly. Is this thing active yet? This thing is, for sure. It's a 2/2 flyer. This thing is a 4/4 flyer. Okie doke. Well, it depends on what she else has in hand. And obviously, Eternal Witness was good there because it allows him to recast his Factor Fiction. Well, he could just, play. Could just play the Bloodbraid. Could do a lot of cards that way as well. Well, it's going to hit. That's kind of what I figured. 26 life, which is not insignificant. Got to be leery of the flyers as well because that Ojutai's Monument is going to come overhead relatively soon here. All right, Elmiri's call, getting a Reclamation Sage, I would assume. Do it post-combat after attacks. Allows him to cast... Oh, Primeval Titan. Okay, well, he's just planning on racing her then. Gain 4 this turn. Well, she can start recursing the Expedition map. It's a lot of value. I don't know how good it is, though. I mean, I just drawing a land every turn, essentially. Well, does she have a counter? Could. 2 cards in hand. You can also recurse the... I guess you can recurse the Wormcoil Engine, which is problematic for him. You just get 2 additional 3/3s every time she recurses it with the Academy runes. You're going to get Wasteland here, as well as a Manland. I would presume Treetop Village. It's my best guess. No, it gets Croson Verge to get up on cards, which is also a fine play. Here, what does he attack with? Just the Batterskull? Okay. Or the Germ. You're going to activate what or do what to it? I'll just untap her Grim Monolith. Okay, well, it's just tons of mana. Life totals are not extremely relevant at this point, I do not think. Although she can do... She can go serve for 6, and also... Can she activate both? She has 8 in the air. Or, correction, 6 in the air. So if she did all the damage on the board right now, it would be 12 down to 3, but I think at that point he'd likely block out the Wormcoil. Alright, Fact or Fiction. Go into the pile, or go into the exiled zone. Okay, well, that's huge. It's pretty good. Probably just do it for 6 here. And serve. You serve here? Because he can actually equip the Batterskull. You probably don't, actually. No, she does. Okay, well, Ugin's dying. At a minimum, you know, and he could equip the Batterskull and gain a bunch of life off of the off of it. Yeah. All right, that looks like the line he's going to take here. And it does have Vigilance, so he could block on the backswing, although he cannot leave up Wasteland at that point. Does she have a counter? No, okay, she just exiles all the cards from the graveyard. Wonder why she did that there. Maelstrom Pulse? Well, okay. Can buy some time. What does he pulse, though? Like one of the flying things, like the Oshutai's Monument? I don't think you blow up the Wormcoil here. Maybe he will, though, because she can she recast it? Not quite. The answer is not quite. Okay, he just blows up that thing. He can attack her life total for a whole bunch, I would assume. Alright, 7 lifelink. Haste is a heck of a thing. Okay, and she can recurse. Oh, goodness. That seems to be pretty good. He's on 4 cards still, though. I mean, he could have ounce to this, but she's going to start recursing the Wormcoil, I would assume. Yeah, okay. Wormcoil is on top. Why wouldn't you attack first, though? I guess... Why would you attack and let him make the mistake of trading with you? Because it's a 5 or 7/6, right? Yeah. So the Worm Coil would have died either way. I guess she wanted to get the Batter Skull off the board. Well, she could. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think he would have blocked, though. I think he would have just taken it. Well, that's kind of a risky play, but I think he would have taken it because he knows she can recurse that thing. It's going to be problematic for him. Well, that's a non-card. Although at this point, the Wasteland is not... I mean, it's still obviously live, but the Academy Runes have done their damage at this point. She'll have a Worm Coil back, and the skull is gone. Alright, Siege Rhino. You know, it's a good card, but I don't know how much it changes here. Alright, well, he does not opt to blow up the Academy Runes. She can still cast it out. Does he have a counterspell? I would presume so. Death Toucher gets in there. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, she can just recast this thing and not worry about counter magic here. Does he have Path to Exile or something? Spell Queller. Okay, well, I got an Air Force at least. You can get in there for 2. Jace the Mind Sculptor. No, an Edric. You can draw a card at least. That's obviously why he played it out. He needs to get into more cards, find an answer for the Worm Coil. Obviously, staring down, 9 Death Touching powers, a pretty good thing. Well, did you find it? Could be a Man-O' War. Well, what do we got here? Acidic Slime. Blowing up. Likely... Is it the Worm Coil again? I don't know. I think you gotta get rid of the runes. And then hope to block. And he's blown up the Death Touch token. Interesting. I wonder why he does not fear the runes. The Academy runes. With Worm Coil, it's kind of a problem. Now, she can just leave up her flying stuff. I don't like this. I think he... Well, let's see what she does. Yeah, I think you probably want to... If you don't have something that's extremely relevant and needs to be dealt with, I think you want to just leave up the Oshitai's Monument to block the flyer. I think you attack in. Obviously, just trade with the Acidic Slime, but I mean, you get 2 more 3/3s on the board, and you can block out the flyer. If he has Path to Exile or Swords to Plowshares, he would have already used it on the Worm Coil engine. Well, that's awesome news. It's an interesting play to me. She want to make her stuff indestructible? I think the Worm Coil engine's better if it's dying, honestly. Wonder why she didn't just fly it over. Going at what? Face? Yep, face. That's what I thought. Yeah, I don't know if I like how she's playing this. With Elsbeth, think at that point you just fly the worm coil over and do 10 damage, put him at lethal the following turn unless he stays back. Then he attacks all his ground pounders, which is also problematic. Alright, Ranger of Aeus. Likely getting a Hangerback Walker, Mother of Runes, something like that. Maybe Ballista as well, I don't know. It's Exiled Zone. Let's see, so Dried Arbor and Deathrite Shaman. Okay, well, not powerful, not the most powerful one-drops. Okay, I have a Jace. No, I already had Hangerback Walker, evidently. Well, gets to draw some lands here. Should be good for her. Purify her top deck a bit, and also free up her mana for use of Academy Runes. Oh. Alrighty. Well, we have more land. I'm assuming she got 2 islands and 2 plains. Okay, no, 2 plains, 1 island. More white-based. Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, what have we got? A treasure mage. Getting what? What huge ridiculousness is she going to get? Mere Battlesphere, okay. Alright, Tarmogoyf, that's huge. Well, Mere Battlesphere inbound. Don't know why she's not flying. Why is she not flying the worm coil over the top? Well, there's a Pride Mage that's going to make it impossible to do that now. Alrighty, more lands. Alright, Mere Battlesphere. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think she needed to do that before, but hey. Wonder, what does she get, or what does he get with the Knight of the Reliquary? Does he have like a Phyrexian tower where he could like sacrifice the Hangerback Walker? Can pump it here. Obviously, the Hangerback itself cannot block. Mere Battlesphere is lethal. +3 up to 7. Okay, Birdie's block. Assume you blow that up. It is a 9/9 flyer, gaining a lot of life. No, doesn't blow it up with the Kasali. Continues to build up the Hangerback. We only got one blocker at this point in the air. I think you got to respect the mirror. The mirror Battlesphere is what? That's 7 plus. That's huge. That's size huge. It's equal to its power, right? He only has 4. Okay, Conclave Naturalist on top. Well, match may go on time. Well, Vindicate up next. Though he can blow up an artifact at this point. Probably what? I don't even know, to be honest with you. Possibly just blow up the land text. I don't know. That thing? The problem with that is when it comes back into play, then it is just size enormous, and it puts 4 more blockers on the ground. I mean, it accounts for 8 damage in and of itself when it hits the board. Okay. Takes the hit. Tons of mana in hand. Eternal Dragon comes out. Another 5/5 flyer that cannot be blown up. I did not see all your matches, ML. He said in 2 players, Armageddon them. Armageddon's a strong one. Okay, Mere Battlesphere gets blown up again? Or was that the Eternal Dragon? That was the E-Dragon. Okay. Well, we could start Alpha striking in there, although her life total is quite healthy. Alright, just opts to go with the Flyer. All of the Flyers, I would assume. At her. Alright, one at Elizabeth. That makes sense to me. Allowing her to make all her stuff indestructible was probably too good. Alright, he's going in with the ground team. You're going to see a lot of chumping here. I don't know why you'd block there. Gotta go for maximum trades. Okay, yep, trade. Chump the Goyf. Don't bother with the Rhino. Yeah, you chump Goyf here. For sure. You don't chump the Rhino. Then 0 cards. Yeah, you definitely want to chump Goyf. Well, he's going to draw some cards here. But, of note, she has a lot of power in the air. I think here, you don't even go all in on the worm. Well, maybe you have to. Do you go all in here? Yeah, our last game against our Golden Lyn was pretty brutal. But it happens. You know, what can you do? Sometimes you just don't have the top deck you need. Although the game prior, we did have pretty good top decks. But I think I still defend my... Alright, draw a bunch of cards. Still do defend. Why is she doing that? I think you want to get the Ojutai's Monument in action. I mean, this thing flies, right? Force him to have the answer, I suppose. Missed his Geddons. Alright, what did she block with? Alright, blocked with that. Well... Oh, Wildfire. Yeah, Wildfire's a good one. It's essentially a Geddon that actually also operates as a board wipe. Very strong card. Yeah, Geddon's a strong one. Was not Geddon down today. That is not what happened. Just, well, I guess I kind of was. My deck just Geddon me. Geddon for him. She needs a board sweeper. It is a heck of a card. Geddon is definitely that. Well, we got back 2 flyers. We're going to see happen here. Some chumps. Yep, some chumps. And you might as well chump the land, too, I think. Yeah. I think I'd go that way, too. Draw 3. This is a savage game. Although, I will say, I do not... Some of the plays Michelle's made, unless she has more hidden information than I do, have not really agreed with. I mean, if she has an or not an Armageddon, alright, fabricate for what? Any artifact. Oblivion Stone? Okay. Well, that's not happening. Okay. Well, is anyone else still playing? I highly doubt it. This game has gone a very long. Very, very long. I'll start damaging her. Really needs an answer to that Edric. The Edric has allowed him to stay in this game. Our Wicker Boy Elder. No reason not to crack your fetch. Presume another all-out style attack. No. Knight's getting in there. Tarmogoyf's getting in there, and so is this. Is she going to activate the Ojutai's monument? Or are we going to see... Okay, yep. Makes sense. Killing that thing. I would assume you block out... Okay, the Knight. That's what you block out. And then the Goyf. Okay, got it. Well, I'll get more lands out of the deck. And she's going to ignore that, probably due to time. Well, someone's possibly going to win on clock. Presume he got that, yep. Yep. Firing it all up. Yeah, manlands are very intensive to pump up, or mana intensive to pump up. Might as well flip the Worm Coil back to hand, yep. And it gets exiled for life gain. Well, Sensei may have turned this one around. We're going to see here. Well, she can't get back the Mirror Battle Sphere on her upkeep. There's a lot of cards, though. Huh, interesting. Well, she's hoping for a Supreme Verdict. Supreme Verdict would be a beating against Sensei here. Out of manlands at this point. Do you have it? Yeah, Mirror Battle Sphere comes back. He could have counter magic at this point too. Little battle balls on the board. Probably just put a 1/1 on the board. Although, could plus a life linker and attack in there. 37 seconds though. I don't think she's going to have time to do what she needs to do here. Gets rid of the Death Toucher. Interesting. Tassiger. Although, interestingly enough, if she just passes it real quick, she may be able to just stay alive here. Yep. Yeah, she may be able to time him out. I don't know. Thragtusk. Nope. Put a 1/1 on the board. Pass it. Oh, actually, that's game. Why would she do that? I guess time? But didn't she have lethal in the air? I have to relook at the board state. Yeah, the Wicker Bow had already shot. I guess she couldn't kill that turn. Oh my goodness. Well, Michelle won on time. That's quite the dirty trick, but she got him, and it was really due to all his triggers. Alrighty, well, that was that game. Interestingly enough, she got him on time, which you can't feel that bad about. He definitely did it a few weeks back that we caught on film, and it is a way of winning. So, cool game, interesting game. We were playing A. Lawrence last round, so let's go ahead and jump in. Round 3. And let's host the match. Alrighty, so this will be our last round today. We're not going to make the finals. Unfortunately, we got quite handily trounced by a white weenie. But hopefully we have a good match here. A. Lawrence typically tends to be a control player, but we'll see what he's on. And good games to both Sensei and Michelle. Alright guys, looks like we are live. And have fun, man. Do I go for the turn 1 Dryad Arbor? I don't know. Well, he's going pretty low on cards on the play, which is definitely not a good thing. I think maybe I do. 2? Well, I guess he's conceding. 3 is way too low. Alright, well, I'm going to act like I didn't see what his deck was, and I'm not going to sideboard. We'll just go ahead and play what we got. I actually don't know what his deck is, because I don't think I've caught one of his matches yet on this recording. My guess would be Esper Control, though. Do I keep this? No, we mull that. And we keep this. And we're going to bottom that. We already have enough threats in hand. Hoping to draw land here. I mean, land's always great when you have Tireless Tracker. And I will a mental misstep that. Is he out of land? No, he's not. Okay. You can burn the birds off if you like. Well, what have you got? I think if he had a bolt, he would have bolted the birds, but I don't know that. That could be wrong. Interesting. I'm surprised he did not wait to see what his top card was. Generally, you want to with Delver. Okay, well, Delver flips. He can Inquisition us and take whatever he'd like. It'll likely get the Miscalc, my guess would be, although both cards are fine. What do you want? Do you want the Snare or the Miscalc? Kavu is not an applicable target, but Kavu can also get the Insectile Apparition. Okay, we'll get it for 3 here. Okay, Moorland Haunt. Does he have a counterspell? Well, you know what we're going to do here? We're just going to get rid of his white mana. Probably should have pumped there. We'll do on his turn, though. Okay, more white mana. Well, I think he has to answer my 5/4, unless he can just kill me this turn, but I doubt that. Okay, a lot of mana. Do you have a Jace or something like that? Okay, a true name, a Nemesis. Well, then, that being the case, I'm going to blow up his Delver. And he can't very well attack into this. He does. Okay. Well, can you pay one more? Good game, man. Well, I guess we won this one. It was kind of a match without much fanfare. Kind of a mediocre match. So let's go and report the result. And I won this match 2-0. And where does it look like we're going to stand, guys? Oh, wrong place. That's my deck list. Yeah, Gatling broke. So we're going to finish 2-1, which is a fine finish. And we'll probably finish, it depends on how Goldenlin does in his next couple of rounds. So it'll be Dots versus Michelle. Yeah, we'll probably finish 4th or 5th, would be my guess. So let's jump in and see some of the other matches. Let's see how this one's going. Well, you know what? We've caught a lot of Michelle's deck today. Let's catch Inix Bane versus ML. Alright, ML is also on White Weenie, it appears. Actually, I think we did know that. I just didn't see him get Geddoned out. It's kind of tough to get Geddoned out when you're on White Weenie, though, if you're playing threats. I guess I would have had to see the matches. Alright, you know, are we really going to watch this? No, let's not watch this one. Like, Abzan should very easily beat White Weenie. Well, this is main step. Main step Worldly Tutor? How does he draw into it? That's odd time to do that, I guess. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to watch that. Let's see how these two are getting along. Again, a White Weenie matchup. What does he have here? A Thragtusk? Oh, that's... Well, okay, he's at 5 life, though. Well, the Thragtusk does kind of stop the beatings. How many cards is he on? 1-1? Alright, Hymnal and Swords to Plowshares against... Alright, well, that thing's very strong. Very strong in this situation. But he does have an active Sylvan Library, which should benefit him some. You know, White when he has his draw can just win, but I think if this Abzan deck is built well, it's got mass removal. I mean, all he needs here is like, you know, one Toxic Deluge or Damnation, and like the game's over. That's also very strong. And I'm assuming he'll find land off the top. Yeah, he does. Does he have an additional follow-on play? Bitter Blossom is not a strong one. Not a strong one in this situation, at least. So, can at least block favorably against most of his stuff, but this is going to be a tight one. So he gets to land tax here. This game looks tight. I think Goldie has the upper hand right now, but the Sylvan Library could just turn the game around. What is Pringles on? Some sort of Boros? Oh, this is the deck that I think ML was talking about. Is Pringles... He's 1-1. He won one against ML. Okie doke. So he's playing an Armageddon deck. What does this thing do? Just makes white mana? Okay. So he has mana rocks to find his Wildfire. And to protect, or and to basically salvage lands against other decks. Although at this point, like Geddon is not strong against Garruk. This is going to be targeting Garruk, would be my guess. He's got to. Yep, and then he's kind of hoping to Mize a Wildfire to blow up all the lands. I think Sensei will win this matchup. Of note, don't know that, but I would assume. All right, Goldenlin won this first round. A Conclave Naturalist, which is good here because it's going to force him. If he's in a Wildfire, he can kill all the creatures and kill a bunch of lands. But he's not going to get to keep mana himself. He'll only keep 2. Really Destructive Force. He can't really cast that right now, though. Alright, Felwar Stone. Yeah, that's the problem with like Wildfire decks, is like they're really cool, but like when they don't have the Wildfire, they're just terrible. Like... because they're playing all these rocks, right? And like the rocks don't really do anything in and of themselves. Alright, there's Missing Mortars, strong, so he's gotten the board clear at least. Sensei, 4 cards in hand to 1 card, so he needs to present a persistent board presence right now. If he can do it with 3 mana and leave up 2 to activate the Croson Verge, I think that's going to be to his benefit. That's a strong one. Does he have an additional one? He does. Okay, well, he's got threats. Wildfire would still not be great for him, although he can leave 2 lands in play, which I assume would be the Croson Verge plus some other lands. So there's a moat. I assume a draw off the top, which is rough. I mean, it means he can't attack. It means this game's just going to drag on for a long time until he gets some sort of planeswalker. But you could just have like enchantment removal, though. All right, Fact or Fiction. Well, I assume he's going to find some. Not here. Well, he does have flyers, though. He has like Avacyn Archangel plus some Lingering Souls. Let's see how Michelle is faring. Well, she ended hostilities. Unfortunately, before the Sword of Fire and Ice could be equipped, although doing that gives him an additional card. I assume he'll present some threats, as this deck is wont to do. I'm going to see an Defensa, a strong one. He's down to 3 cards, though, to her 6. How is she looking on lands, though? Is she going to hit land drops this turn, or does she have full gas in hand? Okay, well, he sacrifices the door, or he gets rid of the Doran out of his graveyard. What does he end up taking here? I don't get to see. So he took Lingering Souls in the graveyard, the 2 flyers in the graveyard, and he took everything else. Okie doke. And he brainstorms. Alright, she evidently had the answer to that. Yeah, she had a Banishing Light. He could have an answer to Banishing Light, like a Reclamation Sage or something. No, this looks like a Gideon. Yeah. I was going to say Gideon or Elsbeth. Does she have Counter Magic? No, she sacrifices this to find an answer to it. The Banishing Light would have been nice to answer that. Okay. Well, do you have more land, Michelle? Is kind of the question right now. Do you have the lands and the effects to keep up with the threats he's presenting? And it's kind of too early to tell. We'll see what she does this turn. I think this turn will be the turning point in the game, either for her to win or for her to drastically lose. Could be a Worm Coil or something like that. No? Okay. Well, she's thinking hard about it. Oh, Batterskull. Fine card. Do you have an answer to it? Pretty brutal if he does. Yeah, okay. He's definitely got the answer to it, so the skull is going bye-bye. Although, unless he has another land, he will not be able to equip the sword this turn. No, he does not. Okay, he just makes another token and attacks. Not looking good for Michelle here. Okay, yep. Devastation happens. What does this card actually do? Destroy all creatures and lands. Okay. Yeah, sounds about right. Do you have an answer to the beast? I mean, obviously not 0 cards. Can you draw one, though? And obviously he cannot attack, so... Pretty brutal. It's a lot of land down the tubes. Obviously you're not going to fetch until you get your next land and can actually cast something, because, I mean, his deck's already suitably thinned. Of note, this is the sort of deck I would love playing against. With counterspells, I think this deck is just complete junk. Or against counterspells, I think it's complete junk. It just, it only has so many relevant cards. It's essentially a board sweeper style deck. If you just counter the relevant ones, you'll probably tend to do pretty well. He paths his own guy to get after land. Of note, it's going to make his draw a little thinner, though. What's going on in this game? All right, well, we do have a Battle Sphere, which contends very nicely with the sword and also gives a suitable answer to the Gideon. Does Dots have another answer? Both on 3 cards. Be interesting to see. All right, we have a Sylvan Caryatid, so up to 3 mana at this point. Not bad. Could just get Geddoned again. Okay, well, that thing's attacking. I think you just... Well, you got to question, what does he have? He obviously has a way to answer the Battle Sphere. thus the block. Oh, we got another Planeswalker or no? Could be. I do not think we're going to have finals today, though. Well, let's see. Is Dots undefeated? Dots is undefeated. As is... Sensei is not undefeated. Michelle is... Alright, so there's no finals today. There are no finals. Cannot be. Because they're currently playing. Alright, what's going on over here? Moat. And 4 mana. Okay. Well, what's Michelle got? An Academy Rector. Well, that's one you generally don't want to have to attack into. And what else? An Idyllic Tutor. Getting what? What enchantment does she want in her hand? Could just be another, like, O-ring or something like that. Very low on cards. Obviously, both of them are. I think hers are bound to be slightly more relevant, but I don't know that. Okay, well, there we go. Ranger of Eos, which can get what? Alright, well, that, plus Hangerback. Okay. Well, no one wants to blow up Hangerback Walker. Given it won't be extremely large. Okay, what did she get? A Thopter Spy Network. Okay. Whenever one or more. Okay. So, I think she's going to be drawing a card a turn. Well, he's managed to get back up on mana. And he has Dust Bowl available to him. Alright. Gets one of his planes to make mana. I would assume casting the Hangerback. But I don't know. Alright, so 1 mana available, and you can make this a 3/3. Only is 2/2. Oh, he might have counter magic available to him. No, it's a Lotus a Cobra. Okay. Hard telling. I mean, Doc Pringles could just Mize. Alright, Dots kills her. Oh, has the Kolaghan's command to get. I got back the Kolaghan's command with the Eternal Witness, which tends to be strong against artifact based deck. Go figure. Okay, does he blow up the board again? Does he have another Devastation style card? I think it is safe to assume he runs more lands than the Sensei does. And how's this one going? This is the White Weenie on, I believe, Abzan. Abzan should be favored. And it appears they are. Right now they're doing a pretty handy or good job of beating up on the White Weenie deck. Although the Mirror Crusader is obviously problematic. No creature cards in the graveyard. I don't really care for engineered plague. I definitely in this format. I guess there are tribal decks where it can just be like stellar, like elves or something like that. But I tend to think that okay, Resto. Well, you can start attacking at least. I tend to think that Dread of Night is better. Well, the board got blown up again by Starstorm. So he's plinking in there for 2 every turn. Now we got a Magma Jet. Alright, Birthing Pod. That should be game. And this is what Abzan does that I don't think White Weenie can generally contend with. Okay, gets rid of that. Gets what? Finks? Reclamations? No, Finks probably. I could see either Finks or Tireless Tracker. One or the other. Alright, Finks, yep. Quite similar power level. I guess this just keeps him from getting mised down by equipment. Although, if he could get a pure white creature, he could block the Mirroring Crusader at a minimum. Because if he just finds equipment, or like just even like a Bone Splitter, like that could end the game pretty fast. And he wouldn't be able to block it. But C4 does have to end the game. And here an interesting thing is he can actually recurse his cards he pitches with the Birthing Pod. Okay. I think you still got a pod here. Yep, he agrees. Pod that into an Obstinate Baloth, I would assume. Yep. Just to make sure you can't get mised out. I would assume... Oh, Siege Rhino. Okay, that's a fine one, too. And Garruk can put a wolf into play. Yeah, this one's over. Golden Lynch probably just concede this one. Okay, well, this looks pretty brutal. Sensei has drawn into a bunch of mana. Post to get... Well, actually, correction, you already had that mana. So he gets a Greens and Zenith for 2. What does that consist of? I honestly don't know what you get it to. Scavenging Ooze? Maybe? Goyf? I mean, what gets around the moat? Kasali Pride Mage? Yeah, that'd be the card. So you can blow the moat up. No land, though, so if he has an answer to this, he just gets it. May see him 0 here to try to find an answer. Yep, looking for an answer. A Gideon Azura, which he can cast. It's pretty brutal. Because that card is strong. It's essentially just a better version of Moat. What's going on over here? Alright, all in attack. Trample's over for 3, plus 3, that's game. Okay. Okay, well, they go to the next game. I guess Golden Lyn must have won the first round. Well, not looking good for Sensei here. And recast what? Which sorcery or instant? A Lightning Bolt. Okay, well, Lightning Bolt is going to get to the Kasali Pride Mage. Chandra will keep on ticking up until she does what? Is she the one that casts all the spells? Exile the top 10 cards of your library, choose instant sorcery, exile this way, and copy it 3 times. I don't know if that's good enough to win the game, though. Alright, Nisa. Make a 1-1, or 0-1, rather. Nisa's fine because, I mean, if she ever ultimates, what does she do? It's like gain a bunch of life and draw a bunch of cards. I think, like, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of lands you control. Well, obviously not so many lands, but, hey, what are you going to do? Well, let's go see how the finals match is going. Not finals, but you know what I mean. Alright, so we got a hanger back on that thing. Killing Spirit. One other half of Lingering Soul still in Graveyard. Yeah, Michelle's losing this one. She's doesn't have land. She got wastelanded and is now out of mana. Well, that's game, guys, unfortunately. You're going to see the game come down to that, I think. If she draw a land this turn, if she does not, she's going to lose. Alright, well, she drew mana. I don't think that looks favorable, though. Yeah, that does not look good for her. Okay, yeah, this game is over. It'll start. They're going to start soon. Elves. Probably just Domer. Finish the game as fast as possible. Exile's a card, yep. This game is going to go long of note. Alright, Doc Pringles wins the first round. And we'll go ahead and X this one out. Is ML still playing? I think that's going to be good games, yeah. Unless she has something truly stellar. Nope, doesn't look like it. So Dot's going to take it down. Michelle will go for a second place. Not bad. Yeah, Wasteland into like threat. Other half of Lingering Soul still suspended in the graveyard, plus a Chandra Ajani. Probably unbeatable. Planner Cleansing, maybe. That's about it. You get an X spell. Council's Judgment. Oh, Face Fetters. I think actually the Chandra is probably scarier, but then again, like she's so short on mana. Like both those cards just win the game. Not a lot of things she can do here to stop that. Alright. Well, ML has got a ton of attackers. Well, that would be lethal if he doesn't block. Yeah, I'm gonna say you gotta block there. And he's out of souls. Golgari Charm does what? Not a whole lot here. His next draw keeps him in the game a little bit better, though. Alright, well, looks like ML takes it down. And Dots won this one. Yep, we kind of saw that coming. What's going on over here? Alright, well, getting to disrupt the hand, that's not a bad thing. Journey to Nowhere on birds. Interesting. Interesting play there. Must have a very disruptive hand. Well, what goes into exile? Yeah, Suspension Field makes sense. I assume Golden Lens hand is very reactive, which is odd because it's an aggressive deck. I think that maybe you don't want a ton of removal in that deck. And of note, like I really don't care for. Oh, okay. Well, they're just out of things to do. I really don't care for. I believe it was Fiend Hunter was the card they were playing. Or Golden Lens was playing. I think that card is kind of just asking for a 2-for-1 to happen. Alright, well, he gets in there. Does his Humble 2. He gets a Celestial Purged. What's going on over here? Alright, Reclamation Sage. Probably blowing up the Journey. Yep, getting your mana back. That's kind of what I'm talking about. There's a lot of ways to interact with these things. Journey's a good card, though. Journey is a card I can get behind. That's like one of the better pieces of 2-mana removal in white, I think. Alright, well, Smuggler's Copter. That's one you probably would have rather blown up. But, hey, what can you do? He's at least off mana. And do you have a relevant Planeswalker threat? Well, not really. Do you have something like Big? Because I think Inix or C4 R1S needs to close out the game rapidly. Because Smuggler's Copter can buy a lot of card advantage. It can buy a lot of. It just purifies the top deck. So this card right here is just going to like allow him to like basically negate all of the mana screw he's hitting right now. It's an aggressive deck that has really not a lot of ways to manipulate its top deck outside of like a card like Smuggler's Copter. That's why it's one of the more busted cards that I've seen in a long time out of which I think it is like the most busted card in the last like 2 to 3 years. Extremely good card. Okay, plus up the champ. Nice. Well played. That at least shuts down the well, he's going to activate it now and lose all of his stuff. And is he looking for lands? I don't know. He'll get through for his 3, but he loses 2 cards in the exchange. Down to 3 cards against 2. Well, the Reclamation Sage is now gone. But I don't disagree with him there. I think that was the right play. Deathrite can accrue some advantage, but Smuggler's Copter needs to be answered. And maybe he has another answer for it. Obviously not now. You don't let it attack if you have the answer for it in hand. Like a Fatal Push or something. Alright, well, oh, it's Volra's Stronghold. Well, that means he can get it back next turn. What do we have here? Oh, that's big. A Dragonlord Jarmoka. Well, that's going to be a hard one to beat for White Weenie unless they have another, like, exiling effect. They do. If Golden does, very good for them. But obviously stuck on land. Ditched Brave the Elements, probably looking for land. Yeah, 5/6 flying lifelinker is probably good. Probably good enough. That would be my guess. Who else is still playing? Oh, the Sensei. That's actually, I think we're not watching this one right now. Let's turn this one on. See how round 2 is going of this match. This is probably going to be a long game. I don't think it'll be that interesting though. It'll be like, can Sensei stop his Armageddon and wildfire effects? Is kind of what that game comes down to. So let's jump back to this one. It just seems more interactive, at least at this point. What we're going to see here. All right, getting the Reclamation Sage back, blowing up the Smugglers. Oh, no, blowing up the Suspension Field, yeah. All right, well, Suspension Field down. Yeah, we actually knew they had that because he killed the, exiled the poor Tide Hollow Sculler. And against this draw, the Reclamation Sage looks great as long as it can continue to die. Okie doke. So we have a Wickerbow Elder. What does this thing do? Crumbling Sanctuary. That's yeah, it means you can't be damaged. Alright, Mizium Mortars. Killing everything. Gets 5 cards, though. Plus Sphinx comes back. Nice. Well, he may be in trouble here. He does have a Maze of Ith now as well. Yeah, this is basically Thought Lash. Very similar to Thought Lash. Okay, I would assume he just blows up that. Interesting. I would have been in between that or I mean, it depends on his hand, but like this is interesting too. Everflowing Chalice, just to keep him off mana for like casting big, large red spells. And what does he have? A Wrath of God. Yep. All right. Well, 20 to 13. And that kind of is what this comes down to. It probably will send with the... Oh, I guess you can't send with the Smuggler's Copter. They both have one. And they're both capable of being activated here. The Reclamation Sage somehow died again. I'm trying to figure out how. That's good. Alright, Mother of Runes. Which can actually be blocked by Smuggler's Copter. If desired. I'm gonna fire it up. I would assume so. Yep. I would assume you'll see it get counter fired up. I'm equipping the Bone Splitter to it, which is, I would think that's probably fine. Alright, what's going on? Alright, the Sensei wins. Oh, okay, he couldn't stop this. He recast some Siege Rhinos and Hangerbacks, and he won. So there'll be one more round in this game that we'll get to catch. And of note, we already have our champion. Dots is 1. And now I guess we're just playing for pride at this point. I think... Okay, yeah, you definitely block this. Deciding on what he wants to discard here. Although of note, he will not have a flyer to block out the 5/7 that's, fomenting a pretty large life swing every turn. Yeah, Selfless Spirit. I guess he has another flyer then that he proposes to put in front of the Dramoka. Alright, well, C4 R1S gets to do that. I think actually you do that there just to see if you can toss a creature in the graveyard. Not that you're probably still not going to use the Vorus Stronghold. I think you do here. Just it's 2 for 1 advantage. I guess he does not. He'd rather see his top deck. Yeah, of course that happens. Down to 8. Leave up mana for the Deathrite to activate, making the Dramoka lethal. Well, what have you got, man? Do you have a flyer that can block Dramoka out? If you do, that's probably good. Although then you can start chipping away with the Deathrite Shaman. Oh, accept. Yep. Sorry about this, guys. We're going to get our cards back just real fast here from Michelle. Unless Moto just broke. Alrighty. Yep. Yep. Yeah, the deck really look pretty cool. We'll go ahead and submit. And while that's waiting, we'll go ahead and finish watching. Well, what's going on here? Game 3 is going on here. And over here. Well, got a flyer. Not a legendary flyer either. Well, once he gets 2, he can start possibly attacking, but I don't know. I still think that C4 is favored here. Interesting play. Wonder why he did that. Interesting. Alrighty, so getting in there. Why? I think this is a little dubious. Is he gaining the life from it? No, it prevents because it has protection. Yeah, just... That seems kind of wrong to me. I think you just sit back with it. If they want to attack, then you get in there. All right, well, blows up the Phyrexian Revoker. Oh, confirm. Yep, sorry about that. Alrighty, so yeah, I think you just hang back with the Dramoka, and now you can chip away with the Deathrite Shaman. Well, can he? Yeah, Golgari Charm is still in there. Otherwise, that is the only available spell card that can actually do damage in the graveyard. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I can't say I like Goldenlin's chances here. I think they are fairly close to 0. Well, there are draws, I suppose. Alright, Sensei looks like he's having a rough go of it with Doc Pringle's build here, which I think will tend to just lose to counter spells, but I don't know. Well, it's 5 to 6 cards. Chandra's a thing, though. Moto may have just broke, guys. Yep, alright. Hey, we're going to go on a restart right here. I'll be right back. Well, guys, unfortunately, Moto is, well, it's being Moto here. So I don't think we're going to be able to catch the rest of these games. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed the matches we played out today. I think the deck we ran was pretty strong. It was a rug-based deck, and it did pretty well. So we went 2-1 with it. We lost, I think, a little bit to variance in round 2, although it's not definitive to say that we wouldn't have been beat regardless. But definitely some rough draws in our game 2 we had, and then we ran decently well in the other 2, and kind of got to show what the deck gets up to. One of the key weaknesses in rug-based decks is that you're really reliant on permission. While at the same time, if you're running a mid-range variant of it like I was myself, you need to tap out for creatures, which assumes obviously some inherent risk because you don't really have a lot of good answers to the board after things have resolved. Specifically like planeswalkers, enchantments, even creatures, because most of our removal in the removal suite is damage based, because red is really your removal color in a deck such as that. So the problem you run into is that because I don't have the availability of sweepers, sometimes it's tough to get more than 1-for-1 advantage out of your cards. And I think that's one of the shortfalls of the color set that you run into, is that while it does have a vast permission option, so if you get ahead, you can stay ahead pretty easily, it's tough to come back from behind in it, though, I think. Obviously, some of the cards that allow you to do that are like your planeswalkers. They allow you to do that. Cards like Batterskull is fine, too. And then Primeval Titan. I mean, that card just wins games. I feel like I haven't lost a game where that's resolved, or it's been, it's like, a 5%er. It's like the number of times you lose a game where you have a turn 1 Soul Ring, in Commander or something like that. I think is what I would equate it to. Once whoever resolves a prime time first will tend to win. Well, it looks like Moto is coming back on as we're bantering about our musings on the deck choice we made today, which again was Rug. We kind of showed you briefly in the beginning. While it slowly loads, I'm going to try to go into collection and see if we can just re-review the deck for a short time frame here. And hopefully, maybe we can get into the last part of the game too. So sorry about this. I know it's not quite the most professional of videos, but if Moto does load up, maybe we'll get to catch the tail end of one of these 2 games. I don't know if either are still going or if the event has come to an end at this point. Well, apparently there's either no one playing in there. Let's see if there's anyone playing in here. No, it's just taking a very long time to load. Well, the collection is up, so here's what we can do. And to abate some of that, you'll see like I made an interesting choice to include I guess it's not that interesting. I mean, it's a powerful card to include Dismember in this deck because the deck has a tough time answering creatures, and it's not a removal-heavy set of colors. We also put in the Dwarven Blast Miner and the just Dwarven Miner light, if you will, to answer more elaborate mana bases. But as you can see, like our answer option is really removal-heavy, and then we have like Burst Lightning, which you get a 4, Grim Lavamancer, Lightning Bolt, and Arc Trail. The other big ones include, I mean, the Flame Tongue Kavu is not a bad one. The Dismember is not a bad one. Sort of Fire and Ice, and then Is It Charm can ping creatures and get them off the board. But really, you have a tough time dealing with board once it's set. As you see, like we can get prepared for the White Weenie matchup because that's one of the ones that I was kind of afraid of. That and Red Deck wins because I'm just a little slower. Even though like Red Deck wins, I think is a better matchup for us than White Weenie. So that's why we had the Anarchy, the Sulfur Elemental, and the Pyroclasm in board. Bribery again, just for big things, and then we have some anti-control cards, and then some anti-aggro / Red Deck wins burn spell cards in the deck. But primarily, we're relying on our efficient creatures and counter magic package to get an early advantage and then stay ahead of the opponent and eventually kill them. And it did very well in 2 of our matchups, and then it kind of just hit the wall in another one. So, and that does happen from time to time. All right, guys. Well, Moto is being complete garbage right now, so I'm going to go ahead and go on a pause. Or actually, I'm going to go ahead and just kill the video at this point. Well, you know what? I'll go on a pause, and we'll at least do coverage for who won. I know Dots won, but at least how we ended up ranking out. So, go on another quick pause, and then we'll see you here in just a couple minutes. Well, hey guys, it's been a couple more minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and call it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if this is a format that interests you, it is 100 card singleton. It is played on MTGO without filter, played as a vintage game, and the tournament can be found on gatherling.com. I say again, gatherling.com. The games start at 15:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, 15:30 Eastern Standard Time for the continental United States. So if you're interested, jump on Gatherling, register, and then there is a link to the Chainsaw Massacre in there that goes to MTG Salvation and kind of explains the rules of the game, plus some players' musings on the game or just other conversation within the community. I think a fairly good community of folks, friendly players, generally pretty competitive. So if you're going to jump into it, expect that the matches will be more competitive. It's much more so than I would say Commander. And generally have to play better cards than you do in Commander as well. They have to do more things on their own. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm going to cut it off here, and hope you have a good week ahead, and we'll hopefully see you back again next week. Take care now.